Welcome to this video with AAMFT. I'm Ruth Newstifter, Professional Development Specialist, and I'm here speaking with Dr. Eliana Gil, who's going to be offering the Family Play Therapy Institute in Santa Fe for 2013. How are you doing today, Dr. Gil?
I'm very well, thank you.
It is so good to have you here, and you have such an exciting topic, not just talking about play therapy, which is exciting enough on its own, but family play therapy. And I'm wondering how you became interested in this area and kind of developed your knowledge.
Well, I think my interest began when I was in a doctorate program for family therapy, and my observation was that most of our professors and actually invited speakers were very comfortable with older children, especially when they could, have conversations with them and do circular questioning and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But when it came to young children, and by that I mean kids anywhere from 2.5 to about 7 or 8 or 9, I noticed that there was a tendency, in any case at that time, to have the kids do something in the corner, like draw or, play by themselves, while the family therapist engaged the family in the family therapy. And I found that very mystifying because I felt that in some ways that was a result of the clinician's discomfort with the young children, not knowing how to manage their behavior, not knowing how to invite them in and how to engage them fully in the family therapy sessions. And that's where my interest began. I wondered if there was a better way to do that. I wondered how you would engage a 3-year-old in a family therapy session. And so it led me to actually pursue a little bit more on play therapy because I was also interested in that. And I thought that these two fields that were so creative and exciting were a perfect match, and I was very surprised that bridge hadn't been crossed more fully before. I did a lot of research at that time, and I remember Carl Whitaker was one of the people that seemed to feel comfortable with children and seemed to do these very creative strategies with them. But overall, the field of family therapy at that point when I was studying just didn't seem to have a lot of people who felt comfortable or excited about the possibility of these two fields merging. So that became the path I took.
That's wonderful. And I love what you mentioned about, the creativity and the excitement of combining what seems like these two separate areas that go together so well. And, this also strikes me as so perfect for the institute setting where we're working with therapists who, have a little more seasoning, right? They've been around a little bit longer. They are a little more established to help them kind of bridge into this new area. What do you look forward to the most about presenting this kind of topic to therapists who do have a little more experience like this?
Well, what I think is wonderful is that people seem so receptive and so ready to accept and integrate these ideas in practical ways. And it's a very good fit for the most part when I've trained family therapists. They're just so excited to know that there are ways that they can get the kids involved and the families involved in a different way, maybe in a non-traditional way, maybe not relying so much on verbal interactions, but something that allows the families to come together and do these playful activities. And lo and behold, I think what they find is that the families just sort of ignite, and there's all this energy that suddenly becomes available, and that you're causing families really to have fun together and to laugh together and, to dream together, if you want to say that. And I think that that's very exciting for the seasoned professional to actually have experience with. And the part about training anyone, from my point of view, is that it has to be or include an experiential component, because I can stand up and say, play is great and, play is fun, but I think if people haven't had direct hands-on experience with it in a long time, they sort of forget about it, or they tend to think of play as something that kids like but adults don't, and nothing could be farther from the truth. I've had, 50-year-old men who say, geez, the last time I did an art activity and felt really proud of it was, I remember being 6 years old. And even then they'll say, sometimes we got graded and I felt bad if the grade wasn't good. And so just the ability to do this art that is not going to be judged or evaluated in terms of a product, but something that's more about expression and kind of releasing emotions, I think most adults really love. but they can't visualize themselves doing initially. So it's a very interesting thing to do because it really brings people to a different place.
It sounds like it adds fun for the family as well as for the therapist, and who can turn that down? That sounds wonderful.
Exactly.
And speaking of fun and having time to explore an energy, the context of doing this in Santa Fe is so special with these 20-hour institutes. Folks do have the afternoon and evening off to go and explore and have some fun themselves. I know that's something I look forward to about being there. Do you have anything in particular you look forward to about the setting or about Santa Fe?
You know, from my point of view, this format is probably one of the most compatible formats with what we're trying to teach, which is that there is an element of fun and laughter and play and excitement and creativity that we sometimes set aside in favor of, you know, the traditional kind of learning process. But to me, this is like an ideal situation where people get to do sort of left hemisphere of the brain activity first, and then in the afternoons and evenings they get to really go out and do right hemisphere of the brain activities. And my experience last time I was there was so funny because people would leave and go find the toy stores and go find the places where they could find little miniatures. And of course there's no better place than Santa Fe, New Mexico. I mean, it's just such a lovely place. It's so historic. It's so it's got so much to offer culturally.
Hear, hear. I'm sold. I'm there anyway, but I'm sold for coming twice, 2 me's. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Dr. Gil, so much, and thank you for joining us also at the Institutes in Santa Fe in spring of 2013 for Family Play Therapy. I'm sure we'll see a lot of folks there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.